All right, guys, how's it going? So it feels like I haven't been around much recently, but although you haven't seen me churning out content, I can assure you that every day of the week, I am analysing everything and reviewing everything for you and looking for things credible to talk to you about. You know, I've never been one to just make videos for the sake of making them, even when that has an effect on my revenue and things like that. You know, cop talk is all I do. The more videos I do, the more revenue I make. And I haven't been making videos. There's the proof. I won't just make things for revenue. And what I have seen in the last week or so is, maybe not last week, maybe the last few days, is a few comments, people saying, Dunk man, you need to get on and address this Alexis Allister to Real Madrid stuff that we're seeing and hearing. And I was a little bit confused when I read those comments because, as you know, I review everything here in Spain every day. I read the Spanish football dailies every day. That hasn't changed. The reason you haven't heard me talking about them recently is because they haven't mentioned anything to do with Liverpool stuff. You know, Canate, Allister, FSG, and a possible, second club, as Rafa Benitez would say, club. For sure. So there hasn't been anything that I needed to bring to your attention, really. So I was like, Alexis, now, if you're a long-term viewer, a long-time viewer of mine, you will know that probably, what month are we in now? We're in October, right? 2025. I think going back to January, February of this year, I said to you, I think next season, therefore this season, we will see Alexis Allister linked with Real Madrid, but I don't think it will be, I did say I don't think we'll see this in the summer during pre-season. I don't think we'll see it early in the campaign, but maybe during the halfway point or something like that. It's just something that I thought we would see. And there are a number of reasons for that, and I've gone over that, right? But there's nothing there to suggest that Real Madrid were going to move for him. Nobody said anything really. Just a hunch more than anything. And for those of you that don't know, there has been some reporting in Madrid to do with Allister and Real Madrid. Now, this latest stuff to do with Allister and Real Madrid has been amplified because of the infamous Indie account on X, which we'll get to in a minute. Now, if you don't know that account, I've got Dave Dave's my AI assistant who's been trained to monitor all these things and football articles and claims and journalists and everything. He will tell you who Indy is later in this video. But basically, he put something out the other day, which I'm going to read to you. And that has amplified things, because people often read things, don't tell people where they've heard it. And, Chinese whispers and messages get amplified or rumors get amplified. Now, before we get on to that, I want to tell you that each time Allister has been mentioned by the Madrid media, especially Jose Felix Diaz, who is the closest journalist to Real Madrid, and Florentino Perez, it's always been Real Madrid are admirers. They would like to sign him. Liverpool wouldn't sign him. He'd be exceptionally expensive, right? That's always been the closing line on any article about their interest in the player. It's never been like, and we might go for him or they might go for him. It's always been, it always ends on a negative as far as they're concerned, but it's highly unlikely that Real Madrid could make it happen. We all know they don't like to spend money. The last article that they wrote about Allister in Madrid, Credible, was the same sort of thing. It ended like that. He would be expensive then it ended and said, but Real Madrid can make exceptions, and if there's a player of real value available, then there can be exceptions. So that was a slight change, right? And that's it. That's all there's been. Now, you will remember, I've got my notes here, Carlos Allister, his father and agent, commenting on Real Madrid's links in April 2025, told Marca and later repeated it to several South American outlets. So it wasn't just, you can't say, oh, that's Marca shit stirring, that they've twisted his words. He said the same thing to numerous outlets, basically along the lines as follows: Alexis is not thinking about leaving Liverpool. He's been there for a year. We know that Real Madrid is on the list. Now, it was that bit that sparked all the, rumours and speculation. It is not easy to arrive at a club and play 40 games. Usually you do it in 20 at the most. And Alexis is doing very well. And the line, we know that Real Madrid is on the list, was the one that set everything off, as it implied Madrid's interest was real and known to the family. It caused quite a bit of a stir, if you like. And Carlos had to walk it back. And a few days later he said, Alexis is performing very well at Liverpool, and this is the important thing to say at the moment. There are no negotiations from Real Madrid with Alexis, and the player will continue with Liverpool next season. If future offers arrive to sign Alexis, we will discuss them with Liverpool's management first, right? So the first quote dangled Madrid's name and resulted in headlines everywhere. The second quote reined it in. He's happy at Liverpool. No negotiations. Now, one more thing before we get to the claim made by Indy was that I remember going over this interview with you guys. Alexis was interviewed. I'm sure it was to do with the product he was involved with or something. I can't remember unless I was supposed to. Like, it's irrelevant. Basically, it was no. Might have been. Right, doesn't matter. Ignore that bit. He was giving an interview, but it wasn't an interview specifically relating to his future. That's the bit I'm trying to emphasize here. So if he was, promoting a product or something, oh, how's this, blah, 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 how's Liverpool? And then one question about Spain, basically, is how this came about. And basically, because it was a Spanish interview, they said to him, one day, Spain, maybe? And he said, yeah, why not? That was it. That was it, right? So all you've got there in that, what I've just said to you in this video, is everything that has come out of, Spain, if you like, in, let's say, the last year. So the claim by Indy was as follows, right? And it was the 21st of October, as you know. Normally I do these things on the same day, more or less the minute they come out. But the mood's been shit recently. I've hated October. Just not very enthusiastic. But now we had a win last night, I want to speak to you guys. So we keep a log, me and Dave, of every single thing Indy says, right? So that I can go back through it any time I want. We do that with every journalist. This isn't a journalist, of course. But we do that, every journalist, every publication. So I can cross-check, see if a journalist flip-flops. Hang on a minute, he said that before. Or when someone says, oh, I think he said, I can look back and get it now, right? We've got so much information now. And the exact quote was as follows, exclusive, all right? And then a bomb, one of them little bombs, like a little thing on it, a fuse, and you know what I mean? It's about to explode, An emoji, exclusive. Real Madrid making moves to sign Alexis Allister. Summer move more likely, but January transfer not ruled out. Don't talk so damn right. Fucking stupid. LFC have set valuation in mind. That implies Liverpool are looking to sell or willing to sell. LFC looking to sign elite defensive midfielder. It also includes that, right? So, exclusive emoji for the teenagers. Real Madrid making moves to sign Alexis McAllister. Summer move more likely, but January transfer not ruled out. LFC have set valuation in mind. LFC looking to sign elite defensive midfielder. You've got, I think, my views on this, right? And it's that tweet there has amplified all the rumours. There was already some fucking numpties saying this kind of stuff anyway. Here we go. So, this is what Dave, my AI assistant, had to say. And don't forget, I have trained Dave with all of this. And then I will, at the very end of the video, to save some of you having to listen to it any further, I will explain what Dave thinks of Indy Kaela, okay? So, the claim is the tweet that I've just read to you. Reality check. Timing. Comes a day after other accounts started recycling the Madrid-McAllister line, meaning Indy is again jumping on an existing rumour. Making moves is a meaningless phrase. It could mean scouting, admiration, or literally nothing. It's deliberately vague, so it can't be proven wrong. Summer move likely, but January not ruled out. A textbook hedge. That line covers every possible scenario, so he can never be wrong. Liverpool have set valuation in mind. Standard filler that sounds informed but tells us nothing. Every club has a valuation in mind for every player. LFC looking to sign elite defensive midfielder. A throwaway add-on to make the post look meatier. It's so broad it could apply to 95% of the Klopp and Slot eras. There are no sources, figures or context, just a string of predictable statements stitched together and labelled as an exclusive. The verdict from Dave, 0% scoop, 100% hedge. Another day, another vague claim based entirely on what's already been discussed elsewhere. There's no detail, no risk and no originality, just recycled talking points wrapped in emoji hype. It might sound like my analysis is always critical of him, but that's only because the way he operates leaves him wide open to this kind of scrutiny. If he ever posted something genuinely credible, I'd call that out just as quickly. It's just that so far there hasn't been anything worth defending. This isn't an exclusive, it's football fan fiction disguised as insider knowledge. Something might happen, but maybe not post, that guarantees he's never wrong and never right either. Now, who is Indy Kaela? And Dave responds as follows. Indy Kaela runs a self-styled ITK account on X, formerly Twitter. He thrives on unverifiable claims, vague, detail-free statements that can never be proven right or wrong, which means he can later spin them into a convenient told you so. His following has turned into a cult account, mostly teenagers and gullible fans, who treat him like an insider. The trick is volume. He fires off so many vague predictions that eventually one will align with reality. Then he retweets it as proof he's always right. It's the broken clock method, right twice a day, but useless the rest. His supporters claim that mainstream journalists endorse him. They don't. Big name journals sometimes interact with him because it stirs engagement, but that's not respect. They're humouring him in on the joke, the way you'd pat the loud lad in the pub on the back while he insists he's Steven Gerrard's best mate. In short, Indy isn't a journalist or newsbreaker. He's a social media showman running a parody-style IT account that survives on Hedges' obvious guesses and the naivety of fans who don't see the trick. Now, my opinion of Indy is a genius, right? Indy is a genius because the Indy account is a revenue generator. It's entertaining, is what I would say. But then again, that also depends on your age and mentality and how gullible you are. If you can't see it for what it is, well, I don't know, but I don't want to insult anyone. If you follow the account and have a giggle and and whatnot, then fine. But if you really believe that Real Madrid are basically considering making an attempt to sign Alexis McAllister in January, then I just don't know. Do you know what I mean? I don't believe it. But the thing is, it's clever because if you look at all of the posts, there's always the get out, right? There's always the get out. It's there so that in a year's time, if he ever is sold to Real Madrid, which is possible, you can dig up a tweet from a year ago and say, I told you. If it doesn't happen, people have forgotten, and a lot of these ITK, so-called in the know accounts, delete tweets after a certain time. I just find that a lot of the stuff that's claimed is stuff that you and I could say. That's all. I don't have a problem with the account. I think the account follows me on X and all that anyway. Not that I really bother with it, to be honest with you. However, it doesn't matter whether you think that's a serious account that's got loads of secret journalists working behind it, because that's the impression they want to give. They must all have the same lingo and spelling mistakes and poor grammar. It doesn't matter if you like the account, dislike the account, because I know some of you like it. I know some of you you're like me that are like, you fucking grow up, right? I know that, right? But this isn't a video about that. This isn't a video to tell you you should follow or not follow. You make your own opinions, all right? It's fuck all to do with me, right? This video is to tell people, hey, You've heard a lot about Alexis McAllister in the last few days and Real Madrid, and this is why. This is where it originates from, and this is what I do. Now, when I first heard people say, hey, don't, Alexis McAllister, Real Madrid, you need to get back and get on this, immediately I was like, oh, I haven't fucking seen it. What the fuck's that? So straight away from my own personal, the fan that I am, I'm like, right, it's fucking in. Do you know what I mean? Come on, man. Anyway, I'll leave it with you. This isn't about bashing India. I couldn't give a flying fuck. This is about telling you where it's come from. Right? What you think is up to you. Does it sound unbelievable? Yes and no. Yes and no, to be honest with you. And that's the clever of these ITKs. Do you know what I mean? I could see McAllister at Real Madrid. And I said back in January and February, I think we're going to see him linked with him. Does that make me an ITK? Am I going to start saying, told you so? No. It's just through, a bit of like noddle and seeing what's going on, that's all. So I do think we'll be linked with him more credibly. Listen, you've had Jose Felix Diaz tell you that Real Madrid would be interested in signing him. You can't get any better than that, all right? And if you remember as well, at the time his father was chirping about Real Madrid, the very same day Real Madrid's board was sat down discussing Alexis McAllister and other players. That's the bit the ITKs won't tell you. So if they read that in Spain, for example, they would tell you that Real Madrid had sat down on a particular day to discuss Alexis McAllister. Now, that would be true based on that reporting at the time by Jose Felix Diaz. But what they do is they leave out the bit that Diaz added, which was he was amongst one of several names. But it makes it sound like Real Madrid's interest is more stronger and would make you pay more attention. Do you get me drift? So what Jose Felix Diaz at the time said, and it was very sarcastic, was, by sheer coincidence, at the same time, Carlos McAllister is discussing the potential of the player, going to Real Madrid one day. The Real Madrid board has sat down discussing him and others. In other words, I think that Jose Felix Diaz was trying to imply that the father was aware of this meeting and knew what was going on and was doing it all at the same time. Oh, what a coincidence. Do you get me drift? All right, guys. Anyway, at the moment, listen, I might not have been around as much as usual, right? I can assure you, and you need to know this, just because I'm quiet, don't mean I'm tossing it off. If there'd been anything to do with Alexis McAllister and Jose Felix Diaz, Real Madrid, do you think I'd really ignore that? So when you see these rumours online, just think, has Dunk touched on this? No. Now in it then. All right? See this cap here? Dunk knows best. If you enjoyed this video, please thumbs up the video. All right? Please drop me a comment. I love hearing from you. There's a love art under the video called a super thanks if you'd like to support my channel. Without that support, I can't make videos. That's the realism with this. And October has been horrendous. Another month like October and I probably wouldn't be able to do any more videos for you. That's the truth, all right? So that's how beneficial that love art is to me, you guys that do step up. Not many of you do, but those of you that do, thank you. Not many of you thumbs up the videos either. Well, they don't thumbs them down either, they just can't be asked, you know what I'm saying? But I know who's with me, all right? So those of you that thumbs up the videos, drop comments, use the super thanks. I totally appreciate you and know who you are, all right? So thanks, guys. There is also a link in the video description to my Revolut. DKB. Ta-da! There it is. That's my new card. My Revolut in the video description is my beer fund on a Saturday, all right? It's Thursday. So if you want to treat me to a beer, I would love to have a beer on Saturday. That's how I do things around here. If I don't get the support during the week, I don't go out on a Saturday. It's the truth. All right, guys, listen. Let me know what you think. Do you see McAllister going there one day? Would you be bothered? How much is he worth? Let me know. All right, guys, take it easy and we'll speak soon.